Queen, why don't you go get your license? Because I did not like any realtor that was representing us. Mm-hmm. Why is that? I would give them my pre-approval, and they put me wherever they wanted me to go, no matter what direction I gave. And even the contract that was sent over to us to review and sign, the pressure was there. Come on, highest and best is in the hour. I need you to hurry up. Did you see it? Did you sign it? Sign it, sign it. Generic. And it was just like, sir, we never had a real consultation. I didn't even know a consultation was a part of the process until I became a realtor. Okay. And then I thought there was something special about the realtor that did consultations. I didn't think that it was a thing that everyone should be doing, because I had several realtors prior to becoming a realtor and learned that that was one of the steps, that you would want to do with the client. So never had a consultation, never went over what the contract looks like. Mm-hmm. So that pressure, I hate to be misguided or feel like I'm being misguided.
Welcome to the Landbank Show, where we highlight some of the most creative and non-traditional ways to make money in real estate. We will showcase some of the world's greatest male and female real estate developers and teach you how you can make money by using the same strategies. Now it's time to develop. Here's your host, Charles Noonan.
Podcast people, we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Landbank Show, where we highlight dope individuals who make tons of money through real estate through non-traditional methods. Forget all that stuff you learned about real estate in school. This podcast is about people who did it through their own methods. So today we got QueenElla, dope event planner, right? Sometimes we got a live audience. We got QueenElla, dope event planner, right? Event thrower, because she's doing something special, right? The lineup is crazy. Realtor, developer, mother, author, and where is she from? Not Newark. She's from Newark. All right, North New Jersey. So QueenElla, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming.
No problem. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so the reason I say it like that is that's how Newark people say it.
Oh, Newark.
There's such a pride in it. I went to school in New Jersey, Caldwell University, and a lot of people, the athletes and stuff, were from Newark. So I got to learn a lot about New Jersey from my experience. Growing up in New York, going to school in New Jersey, it really does open your mind, because they're two totally different worlds, but very similar in a lot of respect. Like Broad Street, Market Street. I think it's Market Street.
Yeah,
downtown.
Market.
Yeah. So they used to take me to get haircuts and buy sneakers and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got a little history. Oh, Snoop, you know what? I actually owned an office on Market Street.
Oh, you did?
I did. And I want to say the Prudential Building.
Okay.
Was there a Prudential Building there?
Yeah, it still is. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So I had an office. Is that on Market Street?
Prudential Building. Yes. So you're talking about the Prudential going towards. See, this is me. I know landmarks. So back in the day, there was a Key Club. There was the Robert Tree Hotel. You used to go to the rooftop for the all-white party. So anything in that bubble, you probably had a lot of traffic if you were there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So you saw a lot of the culture, the arts, everything.
Yeah, I loved it. And so different, but so similar. Yeah. Like the struggle, the poverty.
Right.
Now, the way it's changed now, it's the same thing. Like we've grown almost at the same pace a little bit.
Right.
So thank you for coming.
Thanks for
having me. That was my intro. I want you to introduce yourself to my audience, because we haven't done a lot on social media, but I love what you do, and I want people to know a little bit more about you.
Okay. So I'm a mother of 3. My oldest he'll be 18 in January. So I have a big young man. I have a young man. And my youngest is 11 years old. So I have 2 daughters and a man child. I am an author of a book, I Belong Here, Affirmations of a Realtor. So it's not about real estate, but it's just affirmations of a realtor.
Nice.
It shows a different side of me, so you can really know who I am. I think sometimes people forget that when you identify or you walk around with a title and you say I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a businessman, they forget you're human too, right?
Yeah.
So I had to bring people back down to not look at me as someone that doesn't make mistakes or is happy and positive all the time. There's a different side of me. So that's I Belong Here. And I am, of course, a realtor, a public speaker, and in the past year, October 8th would make a full year, I've been an event coordinator, but someone else gave me a different title. They said, you're more than an event coordinator. You don't just put events together. You're a performance coach. Oh. Because they've seen me on site, and regardless of the level of, the speakers that we have on stage, they will see me behind stage, like, listen, I need you to go up there, say this, do this, make sure you position yourself here. Right. I want you to open up with this statement.
Let's producing it.
Yeah, so I'm like, and then when they're done, I'm like, you did a good job. The only thing that I would have done differently is this. So next time we're going to do this. And it's like, Queen, you're more than an event planner, because you actually care about the development of these people that you're putting on stage. And whoever don't work, we may not see them again. So,
oh, that's true. So you make them better.
Yeah.
I like that. And I like what you said too about just showing the other side. And I think people don't, I think things are changing now back to where it's okay to be a person that makes mistakes. Right. It's okay to be a person that misses sometimes, and that is human, like you said. Human is a word that's taken on so many different meanings now. Because I talk about my losses all the time, and I just don't care, because I know, like, I don't get fooled. I know everybody goes through stuff, and whether you show up on the internet and everything is glossy and looks beautiful, I know how much work it takes just to do that. So I know there's some losses and some hardship in there. So that's one of the reasons I don't edit podcasts. So I don't edit. I don't hide stuff. When I go live, it be shaved sometimes not. It be dressed. It be sometimes, from the gym. I don't match I'm okay with just being human a lot of times. And what I find is that the people that relate to me, sometimes they relate to the success, but there's a subset of people that relate to like the failures or the superhuman side, where it's like, yeah, I'm a developer. Yeah, I got like certain things going on for me. But then I might share something like, hey, a contract I paid 2 weeks ago, $13,000 through a wire. He ain't show up yet. And I'm nervous about that.
Right.
And then those people be like, man, you went through that too. I went through that at the same time. And I'll be like, bruh, please don't send no wires.
Know better. I think on screen, on camera, you think about us as children. When we saw something on the television, they were characters, but we just were so sucked into their role. Yeah. We believed Martin was Martin, Gina was Gina,
exactly.
Pam was Pam, right? Cole and Tommy. So whenever you saw them in a different movie, it was kind of weird. Yep. Like for me, it was always hard to adjust, because it's like, how you go from being a tough guy in this movie and now you're a comedian. Yeah, and it's just like, it's kind of hard to accept. So I think that's how it is on social media. They see us on the screen. Yeah. And you're now a character. It's entertainment. We're all entertainers and don't even realize it. Especially when your audience is building and growing. You have to tap into entertainment, which is why when you go live, I had to tell a friend of mine, I said, when you go live, start talking right away. Because some people go live and they be like, we're just waiting for people to come in. And I'm like, no, go right away, because it's entertainment. What's going to make people want to go in and watch the videos? They see you as perfect. Especially if someone's following you. This is now, you're setting the bar high for them. And they're like, this is who I want to be. And if you're only showing you're good, your happy days, and you're smiling, no tears, I made money. It's like applying pressure on the person that's viewing you, that's following you. And I saw, the only reason why I wrote this book, and it was very quick, it's about as thick as yours, Twitch from the Ellen Show. He committed suicide. He was the DJ. He was the dancer.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I went on his page and I was trying to figure out, like, why did he off himself? Why did he do that? Beautiful wife. They danced together. She was pregnant. They had beautiful children. Everything was going well for him. Then I went to the Ellen Show and I looked at her videos. And there was one video where they were saying their goodbyes. And he said, this was my escape. I love to hear. He broke down and cried. Whatever he was battling, that was his source. That was his outlet. Right. Because everything's perfect. And I'm sure he never exposed any of the bad, because I couldn't find anything on social media. But they said that night he left his wife, went to a hotel, killed himself. The dark side is what we hide. The ugly is what we hide. The mistakes, because everybody looks to you to be perfect. And you have to maintain that because of the character that now you're playing. You're no longer yourself.
Well, I'm new to Instagram. I'm new to social media.
Don't get sucked in, please.
So I don't even do that. I didn't know that I had to be some perfect character.
That's how it is.
So I don't do that. And I didn't spend a lot of time watching social media.
You did during the pandemic? On the lockdown?
No, I was watching like YouTube, Netflix series, just whatever. But it wasn't on social media because I don't think I had, I didn't have an Instagram page on social media. Probably only a year and a half on social media. And I got 18,000 followers, which is pretty cool. I pride myself, and this may be a way for me to like not even play in that field because I kind of made my social media all about teaching, educating on real estate and land bank properties.
So you came in with a different purpose because anyone that came in straight from college or MySpace, you came to entertain, to be attractive, appealing.
No, that ain't. You came. That ain't my thing. That's not my lane. Right. Because I don't want to. In a lot of my branding, I wear the same T-shirts. They're different colors, but it's like I'm not even trying to be fly or fresh or like this super handsome, gorgeous model, because on a regular day, like I'm wearing a T-shirt, I'm wearing shorts and probably socks and old track sneakers every day. That's like how I really am. So when I thought about branding on the internet or like my appearance, it was like, man, I'll be wearing the same shirt I'm just going to go with my brand. I'm not even going to try to change. You know how hard it is to wear something different every time you appear on Instagram?
I know how hard it is. What I
couldn't compete. I'm like, I'm not. I'll be in like, impoverished neighborhoods and vacant properties. I don't want to turn the camera on and be like, let me change my shirt or whatever. Yeah. Nah. So I just rather just more so branded stuff. And I didn't really play in that space. And part of just what we do is more like we're visionaries because we take these ugly, vacant, abandoned properties and make them pretty. Right. So I'm okay with looking like I'm started at the bottom. It kind of goes along with the brand. Right.
Yep. Well, that's good you started off that way because I'll say that I didn't. So I came in brainwashed.
Oh, really?
As a teenager coming into, tapping into social media. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until, my adult age where I was like, I have to reprogram myself. So yeah, you were blessed to come in when you did. Yeah. And with that mindset. So I am constantly shifting my mindset to remind
say like myself, I'm human.
You could just, you I'm
can wear the same thing sometimes, right? If I
want to, why not?
Yeah. I think it's changing though. I think being, like I said, people.
That should be a challenge. I might wear the same dress for a week.
People are relating more to adversity and the human side than the character now. Right. Because now we're growing up, we're knowing those characters aren't real. Right. So even actors sometimes, like you just assign Day-Day with Day-Day. You might see him in the street and be like, Day-Day. And he's like, my name is such and such. I'm not Day-Day from, Friday or whatever. And it's like, oh, shoot. Like they're real people. Or Martin. Or Gina or whatever, right? Right. So yeah, we're getting better at that, and we're changing and growing as a people and as a culture.
Well, on the flip side, here's what I will say: the character definitely forced me to be mature very quickly. So, for example, if QueenElla the brand, because the character brand is one that isn't messy, she doesn't swear, you won't find her drunk or laying up in somebody's bed that she shouldn't be in a room with, or you won't hear her speaking too much about politics or certain things because QueenElla is super positive. It kind of forces me to be positive as much as I possibly can. Because I can't go in there talking negatively. I can't be singing certain songs about snatching somebody's man and things like that. And it now I have no interest for it. Not saying that I ever did, but it just keeps you in line with the brand, with the character. And then at some point you become that. You get what I'm saying? So on a positive note, if it's someone that you want to be, to better yourself. Right. And you have this idea, like this character, people, I'm trying to think like Kirk Franklin, right? If you ever saw Kirk Franklin smoking weed, you probably like, no, he's going to hell. He's a fraud. when he cursed out his son.
Yeah.
During,
I think I heard that. No, I think I heard it.
Everybody was like, what? He is not a man of God. But it was like, he's human. He's a human being. Yeah. So like if he has a meltdown or if his son is being the way that he is.
He gets angry
he gets angry just like we all do, right? But we don't make exceptions for that because of your role. But I'm sure Kirk Franklin wants to curse people out often, but he can't because it forces you to respect the brand because you can't come out a certain way because, you know, you have to maintain, you got to be consistent with that message. Right. So I respect it, but it has its pros and cons.
So be who you want to be.
Be who you want to be until that's who you are.
Until that's who you are.
Until that's who you are.
So I'll be wanting to curse out first my son. I'll be wanting to curse him out. And I'll be wanting to curse out contractors too. Okay.
Right?
Do you ever want to curse out a contractor?
I like to me now. Before,
I need help with this.
Me before, I dealt with a contractor who fixed up. I just purchased my first home in 2018, and it took him about 2-3 months to work on the property. And yes, I did FHA. I did and I had an FHA loan. So FHA will come. They'll send somebody to ride by your house to make sure you're in that house within 30 days. For those that don't know. So I remember getting a letter saying it looks like it's a flip. And I had to respond, to call them and respond and say, no, they're just working on the home. I was getting my siding done, my floors done. They were doing, they were painting the house. But it was taking them so long to do the work, we couldn't move in. So this contractor, believe it or not, I went downstairs because he was like scraping a paint or whatever. Right. But when I went in my kitchen, was paint on all of the countertops, like foot marks on the sink. And I'm like, so this man was standing in my sink.
And it was new.
Yes. And I'm like, you standing in my sink, right? Yes. And for me, it was just like, you know, the cleaning crew that he claimed was going to come in and clean up the house after him. I'm looking at the mop she's using, and it looks like she just mopped up my yard.
Right. Like, she's not trying to use that same mop.
She's using the same mop in my house. And I'm like, the mop is filthy. But I just went to check in to see what was going on. And it was just a mess. It was just a mess. So I went downstairs after paying him, and I was just like, you got to go. You have to go. I didn't curse at him, wanted to so bad, but I respect my elders. He had his dad with him. So I was just like, you just got to go. You got to go. So me, I know how to kind of calm down.
I gotta learn that.
I just can't look at you. If I look at you,
it'll come out the wrong way.
It'll come out the wrong way.
The right way, but the wrong way.
Yeah, I gotta look away.
I think I'm gonna do like a compilation of like contractors violating. Contractors, right? Y'all be violating.
Yeah, they do.
Y'all have to stop violating. Yes. This is my plea. Please stop violating. Y'all should not be standing in her sink when she's going to cook food for her and her family. That's just wrong.
Right.
Stand on the side of the sink. Or put the plastic in the sink.
Yeah, something as simple as that.
All right, contractors, I want y'all to stop violating.
They don't care. They don't live there. They just want to get it done.
They violate time. They violate money. They violate deadline. They will straight look you in your eye and tell you this will be done by a certain date, and they violate it.
Not to mention, please check behind them for permits because they claim they're pulling out permits to get work done, and then they take off, and when you're ready to sell, you're getting a notice, you know, like, oh, you did this without a permit. This was done incorrectly. You got to tear it down and redo it. You can't really put everything, all your faith and trust in a contractor because they have insurance, they have good reviews online, because you might be the one that they screw over.
I'm going to start having contractors on here, and I'm telling everybody right now, contractors, when y'all come on here, I'm gonna get y'all. We're going to pay contractors back for every time they did us dirty. I'm going to start having contractors. I'm going to start having contractors on here, and I'm going to get them.
I'm definitely turning into
I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them for all of us, right? I'm going to just get them for I'm like, so why y'all be ordering extra material? Why y'all be doing 3 or 4 jobs and then
using your card to buy materials for the other job? Yeah.
Why y'all be saying y'all gonna finish at a certain time and y'all never finish?
Yeah.
Why don't y'all ever finish a job completely? Why be 10% left that y'all don't?
Bring one of the contractors you had an issue with. That would be a great conversation. That should be on your to-do list. That would be
a contractor that I had an issue with.
You want to go live and discuss it? People hear your side of the story and they'll hear mine. Right. That would be a good one.
I wish. That's a good idea.
That's a good one. Coming soon. They're going to expose you too. Look, if there's anything, well, you ain't paid me like I wanted to.
I be paying. I be buying lunch. I be overpaying. I be tipping. They be counting my pockets.
Wow.
They be counting my tenants. They be looking at my cars, how I dress, how I pay, and they be taxing.
Wow.
So we're gonna get like at least like 8 people. We're gonna do live studio audience. And I'm gonna get them, and we just gonna kill a contract. We gonna boom, boom.
Have an audience.
We gonna have a penalty button that's just
so
like
crazy.
Violation. They be violating. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of hearing about it. It's just a common thing that we all go through.
Right.
That I notice people don't talk about a lot. Also,
right.
Like they show the beginning of the project. We're breaking ground. Right? They show it's being built or a closing table, and then they show the end product. They don't show the fight with the contractors. They don't show the missed deadlines, the code violations they got, the permits that wasn't pulled, and all the other stuff that goes on in between. So we're going to start to really highlight and be more human about our approach to developing.
Absolutely. You should. They should be about it.
Let me ask you this. How did you get into real estate?
So, everyone that knows me know that this story. I had, we started to look for a house. A guy I was with at the time, he thought, Queen, why don't you go get your license? Because I did not like any realtor that was representing us. Mm-hmm. Why is that? I would give them my pre-approval, and they put me wherever they wanted me to go, no matter what direction I gave. And even the contract that was sent over to us to review and sign, the pressure was there. Come on, highest and best is in the hour. I need you to hurry up. Did you see it? Did you sign it? Sign it, sign it. Generic. And it was just like, sir, we never had a real consultation. I didn't even know a consultation was a part of the process until I became a realtor. Okay. And then I thought there was something special about the realtor that did consultations. I didn't think that it was a thing that everyone should be doing, because I had several realtors prior to becoming a realtor, and learned that was one of the steps, that you would want to do with the client. So never had a consultation, never went over what the contract looks like. Mm-hmm. So that pressure, I hate to be misguided or feel like I'm being misguided, or going into anything blindly. So I went and got my license, and then a month later we purchased a home. So that's how I got into real estate. And then when I saw... Because you saw like a void in the process of how it works. So you're like, let me get my own license, and then I could sift through and find what I actually want to live in and buy it. Yeah. So I represented myself. And then after making a down payment on a house and then getting a commission check, and I was like, commission check and down payment looks the same. Right. I was like, wow, I should do this more often. Okay. And then I was like, but I'm going to be the best that ever did it, because I know where they fell short. I'm going to make sure I do it the right way. Yes. So my first year, I did 18 deals, had 18 closings, didn't know much about real estate. I was winging it. But I'm going to be honest with you. I knew the basics, but they don't teach you much in school. Right. I learned a lot from my peers in the office. So anybody that's new, I would encourage you to stay in the office and just pick up stories. Because I would repeat those stories as if they were my own. So if someone had an oil tank issue, I'd be at an open house like, we want to do an oil tank sweep because my last client, we had an issue, and boom, boom, boom. And they're like, oh my God, you know so much about it. I'm like, yeah, I do. Knew nothing. Storytelling is huge. But you got to have the gift of gab, and people have to really believe what you're saying. Do you think you have the gift of gab? I think so. That separates you. That makes you so many levels higher than other people. Right. But I'm not giving out, like the information that I give out, it's not inaccurate, but it's not to say that I know from experience. I know from my teachings. Okay. That's it. But I will make you believe. It's just a gift, maybe like a relatable storytelling gift, right? Mm-hmm. So someone who isn't gifted may not want to share that story, or may not tell that story in a way that gets the person at ease because there's an issue with the tank. Right. The gift of gab is like, I see you got an issue. Let me tell you about a story of someone who had that issue and how they got around it, and how myself, I thought like I would never buy that house. Right. But once I understood how it's just like you just get a new tank and you can get it insured, and there's a tank insurance company where you'll never have to go through this again. And look, you never have to worry about it because you just got a brand new one.
and they were super happy, right? And then it's like, you know what? That's not that bad. See if they'll meet me in the middle, and then we can close the deal, right? Somebody who can't do that will just be like, yeah, so they have to fix the tank before we can sell the house.
Exactly.
You done sold it already.
I already have, yeah, and that's important to. So if you could put yourself in someone else's shoes in this situation, and then if you can reassure them that they'll be okay, or just lay out the pros and cons. I don't like to lead anyone. Yeah. And I don't like to make decisions, right? So I will give you the pros and cons. Now, if you do this, it might work out, but so as a realtor, I feel like we get ourselves in a lot of trouble, especially now. I'm not calling out anybody right now, but there's somebody I know for a fact. You're going to lose your license because if you think about a shortage of inventory, there's a shortage of checks being written out. Okay. But there's still a lot of realtors in the market than need be. Yeah. So realtors are not getting paid like they used to. A lot of realtors are complaining. So to keep the money coming in to maintain your lifestyle, what are you going to do? You're trying to get to the closing table by any means necessary. I am not that woman. I am not. Right. For me, I will advise my client to wait. And I've done that. I actually posted something last night because I got a text and she was like, you did above and beyond. She waited almost a year before she made her purchase. Really? But now the property has $65,000 more in equity, just waiting.
You know what that does? That made her trust you.
Oh, yeah.
Versus the person who's saying, buy the house now. What do they say? Buy the house, marry the rate.
I don't do that.
You know exactly what I don't know the term. What do they say?
They say date the rate, date the
marry
rate,
the
marry
house,
the house, date the rate. Yeah, that's bogus. Because and to my argument, I'm sure you agree. I may not be able to refi. Like, what if my credit changes? All right, my debt and everything changes. I won't be able to refi. Or what if I decide to refi during the time where the rates went up? So now I'm jammed up. I'm stuck with this property I really can't afford.
Or if it doesn't go down, right? Yeah. Especially if you thought, well, yes, I don't. So that's not my space. Landbank Properties, we create that inventory for realtors. Right. That's what we do. I'm not on the realtor side. I love it though. I'm so intrigued by like the realtor side of it, the sales side of it, the buying, the selling. We have people on the show that do high-end luxury real estate, that do rentals, sales. It's so interesting. It's just a beast. It's like a totally different beast, right? So now I think you're saying shortage of inventory, and we've all heard that. But I've never thought like, all right, there's so many realtors. That means there's a shortage of closings. There's a shortage of checks in your world, right? In the realtor world. Yeah. So that's very interesting.
That's how I ended up doing short sales and going after homes that are being foreclosed on because I had to pivot.
To create.
Right, because I don't have the guts to tell someone to purchase a home, to waive appraisals, waive inspections, because I build relationships with my clients, right? So when the deal is done, we're still going. You can still call me. We're most of my clients are from Instagram. Okay. All right. I don't want anyone in my DMs or in my comments like, don't work with Queen. Queen told me to waive appraisal, waive inspection. Right. She forced this on me. She told me, don't worry about the oil tank. You know, it's underground and secure. Don't worry about it. But I found later that it's contaminated and I had to pay $100K for it. I don't want anybody to have. My name is QueenElla. How many QueenEllas you know?
0.
My name is everything. Yeah. So when my name is mentioned, I want the best to come out of your mouth. I want you to say, trust that girl, go with her. I feel like, any bad news is going to travel a lot quicker than it would if I did a good deed. So yeah, for me, I tell my clients all the time, think twice before you say, I'm going to go work with another realtor, because that realtor that's telling you go, 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 it may be for their own interest. They may have commission breath and they want to just, get the deal done.
Commission breath. I never heard of that.
Commission breath, bro.
I love this real estate side. I love that side of like the real estate world. Yeah. Because it's so interesting, right? There's so many angles and dynamics of it, right? There's people that are ethical that want to get people in the right homes. Right. And then maybe their second home. And then maybe their dream home, or what do they call it? Your final house, your final home, like the house you want to like live, your forever home, forever home, right? And there's so many aspects to it that I really Like, I just love it. And your non-traditional way of making money in real estate is what?
My books.
Your books. Ooh.
My books, my shirts, and events, of course.
Okay. Oh, real estate events. That is dope.
Events, right.
That is dope.
Right.
Aside from the way that you got into it too, right? Some people, they may like grow up wanting to be a realtor. They may have friends and family. Your interest came out of, I can do someone's job better than they're doing it because I don't like how I feel. I can make buyers who are interested in buying homes feel better. And then that was your entry point.
Right. So anybody that is like, okay, I'm trying to figure out where do I get in? Where do I fit in? What I always do is there a need? Let me think of a need. Okay, so in real estate, there's a need for this. Okay, let me just be myself because everybody's stiff. Everybody's real estate pictures like this.
Y'all got the best headshots. Y'all got model actress headshots like crazy.
So mine is just a head and it's a side profile and got a little pink in the back. I'm like, I'm gonna be a model. Like use one of my model photos as my
Yours
picture.
Is different.
Yeah, mine is different. And then too is like when I do my open houses. I had a DJ at my open house, cater food, right? Something a little different. So you come to my open house, it's like a party. It's like, wait, you feel already at home, okay? And depending on where we are, I would switch up the style of music.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for me, it was just like, okay, there's a need. Let me make that happen. And for me, I felt like there was a need. COVID was over. We're all outside and everybody knows everybody was going to networking events. I was like, okay, finally, right? Everybody's outside and but when they were outside and going to these networking events, I noticed that no one was being educated or there weren't really much of like any matchmaking, right? Everybody was just getting drunk. They were drinking a lot, eating, dancing.
That's
it was
a whole nother thing. Y'all be networking and y'all network /party.
Party.
And y'all call it networking.
And it's not networking.
And when I go, I'll be like, why is everybody drinking so much? Why is everybody
Why is it open bar?
Why is it open bar every event? Like, why is it sponsored and just like a party? And I couldn't figure it out.
Think about the sponsors. I will look at the sponsors. It would be 3 title agents, a room of only like 200, 300 people.
Banks.
Why do we have 3 of the same profession?
Yeah.
And no one's walking to your table, right? So I was like, okay, so I have to cater to the audience. I want to cater to the speakers because the speakers are frustrated trying to speak to people that are drunk.
Oh my goodness.
The sponsors are getting annoyed because they're like, I'm being overlooked because my table is in the back and no one's really interested in me. And I'm title X, title Z is here, and title Y is here too. So my events, I don't call them my sponsors, I call them my partners.
Can we pause for a second for my sponsorship?
No, okay.
But I have to tell you, I'm going to tell you as soon as I come back from sponsorship about a real estate event. A realtor threw a real estate event and she asked me to speak.
Okay.
And they didn't turn the music down. They didn't, everybody was still talking.
No.
And I was like, wait, I don't know if like, these people want to hear what I have to say. They're in real estate. They sell real estate. But I think this is more like a party. She was like, no, just go speak. And I did it anyway. But it was the shortest presentation I have ever done. And in my mind, I'm like, I'll never speak at a real estate rooftop networking event in the summertime in New York City. I'm like, that's not my crowd.
And it's not even that it's not your crowd. Here's what I always suggest. If you're going to serve alcohol, it should be after the presentations.
It was just
and give this I call them my partners. Like last year in October when I did it, if we were getting ready to talk, we had a hard money panel. I had the hard money lender open up for the hard money panel, right? So I'm going to introduce the hard money lender. He came up, gave his spiel, and then we went into that panel. When we talked about title, how to protect yourself and why investors need to run a search, I had a title agent open up for them. Right. So you're a part of the program. And then afterwards, after party, that's why he in North New Jersey, let's go. Because I'm going to lose you. I'm going to lose you if everyone's drinking, you know what I mean? And then there's a separate... Well,
what y'all be going through in the tri-state area for realtors, brokers, everybody involved, Y'all make a lot of money. It's intricate. It's diverse. It's a lot going on. A lot of moving parts to closing a deal. I didn't know how hard it was, right, to get people at the closing table and close those deals. That's when I understood why y'all drink so much and why y'all party so hard at y'all networking event.
But that's why I say don't call it a networking event.
They called it a networking event.
Don't call it a networking event. I
can't wait to get you to speak. I can't wait to have you speak at my next event. I'm like, yeah. You want me to do the next one? She's like, no, you'll be fine. I'm like, this ain't really my crowd. They know about Landbank. She's like, no, you'll be fine.
You'll see if you attend one of my events, you'll see everyone's with their pads. Like, we're gonna have classroom style this October. We're coming to learn. I
gotta figure out. I gotta do a little bit more vetting on these.
Yeah, that's what it is. Be selective.
I'm not doing hot, beautiful, sunny day, summertime rooftop on the 89th floor with drinks and a bunch of people that just closed a deal that's coming to the bar anyway.
No, you'll get their attention the first hour, right? Once they start drinking,
after that, okay,
you should be opening up
with that.
And then after a while, after an hour, then they can go out and do their thing.
It's just going to turn up.
Yeah, because
it only goes up.
Shout out to Curtis. He does the NYREM New York Real Estate Mixer. I think those are the acronyms, the words for them. And it's the same way. So everyone comes in. It's like 200 people in a room. And he has the sponsors or speakers. They speak for a good 2-3 minutes each. And that's like the first hour. And then afterwards, everyone's drinking, and then they're networking amongst.
It don't be networking. It does not be networking. It be fun.
Yeah, you with the wrong ones.
New York City, tri-state area. Look, when they say networking, they mean party. They mean party. To everybody watching, to my audience, my beloved Landbank team audience, if you go to a real estate networking event in New York City and it's on a rooftop bar with open bar, go there to party. It's not networking. The networking is like Saturdays and Sundays at their open houses and things like that. Go there to network. Don't go to no open bar to network. It don't go down like that in the city, especially on a rooftop in the summertime.
I don't know.
Now, the wintertime, I got to go to some other... All right, so give me Curtis...
Wintertime is worse, because think about triple play.
Give me Curtis information.
I'm going to go to Curtis event.
Just to learn.
Let's go. It's September 20th. Let's go next week. I'll show you.
I think I'm here.
All right, let's go.
I gotta travel. I think I'll be here.
Let's go.
All right, let me give my sponsorship where there's no alcohol involved and there's no partying. Some of them parties be wild. They be good parties. Now I know if I want to go party, I'm looking up real estate networking events.
Man, listen,
and I'm gonna go party.
The last one I went to and I said I'm not doing it ever again. Girl jumped into the pool and came out, and now you're like, I can see through your dress because you're wet. And I was just like, yo, this is so tacky and embarrassing. I gotta go.
It's just no difference between New York City nightlife, rooftop party, and real estate networking event. Sponsored by such and such. It be the same thing to me. It means the same thing to me now. In my mind, it means the same.
You gotta go to the right one.
Let me go to my alcohol-less sponsorship right now. Unsoldland.org. Unsoldland.org is your one-stop shop for everything land. Typically, they have land in the South, but what I like about unsoldland.org is that they do a lot of the research for you. When you look at a property, you're going to see Google Earth, you're going to see Google Maps, you're going to see Street View, you're going to probably see county records on there as well. So it does all of the pre-work for you when it comes to buying land. They go as far as showing things nearby, like restaurants, hotels, and things to do in the area. So I really like unsoldland.org for the level of research that they do, and I'm proud to have them as sponsorships on the Landbank Show. The second sponsor, Star Homes. This is your one-stop shop for everything tiny home, modular home, mobile home, and manufactured home as well. My guy Adam is a really good friend of mine. We've done a lot of business together. And they did not say no when I asked them to do sponsorship for the Landbank team because they are like our preferred vendor. So you buy the land on the Landbank team or you go to unsoldland.org and then you go directly to Star Homes to see Adam. He's going to help you develop that land. Now, no alcohol sponsorship, alcohol-free sponsorship. All right. So that's how you got in. Now, we met at a podcast, right? At another podcast, which was like dope. I love podcasts. I love learning, right? And that's where I really learned about you and really started to dig into what you do. Mm-hmm. What made you decide that you wanted to throw real estate events and not only just share what you have to offer, but share what everybody has to offer?
So, there was a friend of mine. I remember being on the phone with him. Shout out to Irv. We haven't spoken in a while, but he was somebody that I would speak to quite often. And he said to me, Queen, keep your foot on the pedal. Don't let up. Keep your foot on the gas. Mm-hmm. And this was during the time that I was just doing lives on Instagram. And I remember breaking down and crying because I just felt like it wasn't enough, mm-hmm. right? I felt, it was a lot of things that were happening online. We were seeing a lot of murders. We were talking about racial, mm-hmm. I don't want to get too political, but you know what I mean? Things were happening that we weren't okay with as people of color, right? And it was very troubling, to my spirit. And I felt like I had to do more. So that is when I wanted to start. I was working with Valerie. She's with Beauty for Ashes, where she helps battered women, drug abusers, homeless individuals. So I got involved with that and I started to assist her, and it wasn't enough. So my lives weren't enough. Doing real estate wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. And assisting her just wasn't enough. And I'm just like, okay, what do I do? Like, what is it that I need? Because why do I feel so empty?
Right.
And Deontay, this was it last year? It was last year. Over the summer, she reached out to me and was like, Queen, I want you to speak at my event. And then when I arrived, she was like, we want you to moderate, because I guess she had a long lineup. So I was like, okay, no problem. And when I got on stage and we started to run the show, it was in that moment where I realized, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because it was so much joy that came from that, being able to help people. Like when someone can, think about church, you go inside of a church, and then you should walk away. Don't leave the same way you came.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did I speak at that event?
Yeah, he did. Same event.
So we been that. Why didn't you?
No, you were the last lineup. I remember.
Yeah.
Talk. So why I thought I just met you. Life is so interesting.
Why I thought I just met you.
This is weird. Life is very interesting.
It's the city is small. The tri-state area is small. People that develop is small. It's a small handful of us, right? You see the same people.
Well, how weird is it that now the three of us are in the room together again?
Well,
it is weird.
Is it? Right. And it's right.
Full circle.
Just past that time, too. That 1 year mark just passed.
Full circle.
That is weird.
I know.
I ain't gonna lie. That is weird. So
all this time I'm talking to someone new, and it's someone that I've known for a year.
And you moderated.
I moderated, so yeah. So think about everyone that was in that room when I started to converse with them, and I was like, this is something that I could do, because what she's doing, whether she knows it or not, the fact that it changed me, it made me believe in myself more, wanted to do more.
Right.
And then talking to everyone else, and they were like, I got all this information, and I feel like I can now make my life better, and I could do this. I got my kids, and I'm trying to get them set up, and I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to be doing, because I don't want anything that's going to, when I was helping the woman Beauty for Ashes, I felt like I'm giving out, clothes to this homeless person, but this outfit is not going to last you long. You're going to need another outfit soon.
Yep.
I'm giving out a canned good, but this is not going to hold you for the rest of your life, right? But these events where you are able to give out the tools, the resources, right? And it's up to you whether you apply it. Mm-hmm. If you apply it, it can change your life forever. And I was like, this is it.
Okay.
So I started doing events.
So why haven't I been invited to do an event? Now I could just go act like we got years in. Like, why I'm not on this panel? And you know what's funny? That was an early event, but that speaking engagement went well. Like, so many people came up to me. I got Landbank team members. One individual I remember specifically, it was an older woman who was in Newark. And she had issues with real estate. She couldn't find deals, and she joined the Landbank team. So I just automatically associate her with that event.
Yeah, a lot of magic happened in that room.
And then y'all have people that work at the land bank there too, who is on the land bank team now, which we talk about like full circle. There's so much positivity came out of that event. So I'm going to charge you with the task of you saw me speak live in person.
You saw me too.
Killed the room.
You saw me too.
I'm talking about they came up to me. I felt kind of like, oh, shoot. I'm looking at my son like, yo, you see this, right?
Right. Because the information, when I say, it's one thing when you go to an event such as that, and everything is all fluff. It's just like motivation.
Yeah.
Like motivational speaking. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You were actually given deliverables. Like you had your deliverables, your action items. Like do this and you should see a change. And you may not be able to take in all this information, but if you could just at least take one of these things that I mentioned and apply it, you're going to see a change. And I was like, this is what I want. I want change. I want change.
That's how I teach too. I pride myself on teaching. Like when I speak to somebody, I almost be wanting them. When I speak, I almost want people to go in their phones and look these sites up and save them, screenshot my presentation, because I want people to leave feeling like I saw this guy do this. He told me about it, but it's in my phone now. Like he just put it in my pocket. If I don't want to change, it's like hard not to, because you're going to open your phone. You got to look at the site that's showing you houses for $1,000. You had a real estate event. You know you want it, right? You might not want the risk. You sometimes also too, developing can be intimidating, right? We hear people with 300 doors, 500 units and all of this stuff. So my approach is like, I want y'all to just get in the game. I just want y'all to smell it. Start to taste a little bit of real estate. Like you said, you got that. You paid your down payment, so your account went down. Then you got that commission check, and you was like, ooh, I got something here, right? So I really want like that impact where people just get in. Just get one rent and security. And a lot of times people think I got to spend this money to renovate a land bank property, and then I'm going to get checks at $900, $1,000, $1,200. But the reality of it is that renovation part, if you like do it the right way, it don't have to be that hard if you have the information on how to do it safely. And then when you get those checks, that rent and security, it'd be feeling so good. It's like you open the doors to a new business. So I really focus like just get in. Just go buy a property at $1,000.
And how many people you think you've helped since we last saw each other in
the course of a year? Easily 400.
Wow.
Like I know factually.
You gotta go update your bio.
Factually 400.
400.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Easily. We don't
and you've been doing this how long?
Land bank team a year and a half. Not even a year and a half. Probably 14 months so far. And the first couple of months I totally sucked at it.
Well, okay, so how did you get into it? Because someone had to bring you in. You didn't just wake up and
So I was doing business with a coach in another business, and we just started doing business together. And then he was like, yo, how'd you get all this money to start your business? And I'm like, I buy vacant properties.
Oh, so you were an investor before you started the land bank team?
Yeah, so I was in real estate for 20 years in New York City. Graduated college, bought a house like right away with me and two of my friends. And I've just been an entrepreneur my entire life. I did spend some time in corporate America. I went and killed it, dominated. But it's something about me seeing people, seeing companies make a lot of money, me being paid a lot of money. My mind is wired to be like, if you're paying me $475,000, like how much did you guys make? Right. From a corporate perspective. And I did all the work. So I
don't want to be the guy that's writing the back of the check. I want to be the guy that's writing the front.
Exactly.
They make it more.
Exactly.
Right.
So I started a business, and I was just doing well, but this guy was on the internet and he's teaching the business.
Right.
So he's like, hey bro, like you killing it and you helped me so much. So last week he actually gave me, this is going to come out soon on social media, but he actually gave me an award for like a 7-figure earner award because he taught me how to teach and coach online, and he helped me create the Land Bank team.
Wow.
He's like, you need to do it this way. So where you don't just tell them where to buy, but you need to like keep them with you, hold their hand all the way through. They want to get more, like, so what? They're on your team, bro. Like, teach them how to buy more. You got 7 on one block. You got 4 on another block. You got 300 Ds. You're like, just teach it to them.
So you recruit. So, okay. So the 400 families or individuals that you've helped. Well, I say families because it's really, right?
Yeah.
Families.
And then I teach, my concept was when I started to create generational wealth, not debt. So this branding you might not recognize, but if I show you my other stuff, it was like, is generational wealth, and then there's a line going through the debt, meaning like not debt. So if you saw that, that's my older branding, you probably would have recognized me from that event. Yeah. And that concept was more so like, we're doing real estate the wrong way by taking on all this debt, especially during those times too, right? By buying these huge portfolios, doing the BRRRR strategy. The BRRRR strategy is kind of like dead now. You don't really hear people talking about it as much as we used to. So I was the first. I was like, yo, the BRRRR strategy sucks. Y'all doing it wrong, especially if you got kids and you trying to hand down a portfolio. You taking all the money out the property. Like, what are we doing? How am I hand this to my son with like $10,000 equity? Really? If something happens, he's selling it. He's not a different perspective. He's not renovating. It's more like a real, true concept to where like you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your kids. You know how you said you don't want to give the guy a can of soup or a can of food, and it's like, how long is that going to last? So my concept was I could run up 15 properties in New York and pull all the money out. And what am I handing down? I'm handing down my kids' property with no equity.
That's true.
They ain't working as hard as me. They're not built like me.
Right.
So when something happens, they selling the property. They selling it pennies on the dollar. Hey, I don't have $45,000. Or I'm not paying $45,000 to fix that roof or the furnace or, some apartment that tenants junked up. They lose the property. So I kind of created like, all right, we got to stop pulling that money out of our properties because we really taking it away from our kids.
That's a good point.
That's our kids' money.
Right.
And then we have to buy real estate that we can afford because statistics show like a lot of properties are in foreclosure. Like there's an alarming foreclosure rate in the tri-state area, in America, in fact, right? And then a lot of them are at risk of being in foreclosure as well. So it's like, well, how could I set my kids up in a way that they don't struggle and they don't have to deal with the stuff of rates, foreclosure, capital expenditures to an extent, and all the negatives that happen with real estate? It was like, I got to get them portfolios where there's no debt attached.
Well, it's deeper than that. We had an event at the Brooklyn Bank. Shout out to Drew Bernard. He let us host an event there in July, and a woman stood up and said, listen, I'm not really here to be an investor. I had no interest, but my mom passed away. She left behind 6 properties and I don't know what to do with it, and she said, I get phone calls and people contact me all the time trying to buy it. I don't know anything about real estate, but here it is. Now you can label me an investor because I have a portfolio of 6 properties. Right. So it's not only, I don't want to transfer debt, but I don't want to transfer ignorance. Like you don't even know the process. So a lot of us, we go into business and we're not educating our children. We're not telling them this is how you manage a portfolio. Who was it? Is it Jeezy? He was talking about who's with Russell Simmons' daughter? Young Jock? I don't know none of them. But he was on, I think it was EYL. They interviewed him and he said he purchased all of his properties outright cash. Yeah. So no mortgage. And he went on about his business, not knowing you have to pay property taxes until he...
so he has part of the concept, but he wasn't educated on taxes and insurance and things like that.
Right. And he said, if I did not have money, emergency money off to the side, when they came to me saying you owe back taxes, and he wasn't in a position to pay it, he would have lost all of his properties. Yeah. So a lot of people, they don't know, like we inherit certain things we know nothing about. So that education piece, I feel like it is very important.
It's extremely important, but what I think is more important is that they're not heavy properties to carry. Right. If my kids have to worry about tenants paying rent and making a mortgage, and they're in their own lives and they're just passed down this portfolio, it sort of serves as an interruption as it is, right? It's an interruption to their lives as it is. Like, I got to manage my dad's portfolio. Like, what the hell? And then it's like, hey, this mortgage got to be paid. This got to be paid. This got to be paid. This one made money. This one cash flowed this month. These 3 didn't. So now you either got to come out your pocket or you got to take money from one property to pay the others. And they're already in their respective fields of whatever they feel like doing, right? They're passionate about. It kind of becomes a burden. And what I've found is, so some of my friends, like I'm in real estate very heavy. Some do wholesaling, and they celebrate, no knock to wholesalers, but they celebrate wrestling properties at pennies on the dollar from motivated sellers. The motivation for people that are inheriting properties, right, is like, I don't want the headache. I want to get rid of them.
Right.
So they make a ton of money. They get them undervalued. So I always would just picture, like, if I give heavy properties that are heavily leveraged and I pulled all the money out, are they really going to keep them, run their life and my portfolio at the same time?
So with that being said, do you think, so for those that are pulling out the equity just to quickly buy more properties, because, you know, if you're doing this in your 30s, it may work out over time. Like if you live to see 50, 60 years old and you pull equity out one time, right? You could possibly see appreciation and be pleased with the result. Think about how the children are today, where they don't want to inherit your property. How many properties go up for sale? That's a whole other thing. Right. How many properties go up for sale? My mom and dad's house, I already have one of my own. I don't want this headache.
Exactly.
Right. So I guess it would work out for some to do the BRRRR strategy where they're pulling equity out.
So here's the concept. So here's the back end of my concept. Have them debt free, run and operated by a management company. Right. So there's no debt attached. So it's never going to cost you any money. Right. Inheriting my portfolio. It's only going to pay you. You're not going to have to manage the properties. You're not going to have to go. You ain't going to have to. Like, I hate going to the Midwest. Okay. So it's just my concept. I don't like going to places where you got to carry guns. We live in New York, right? We live very comfortably and safe in New York. When I gotta go to these properties and it's unsafe neighborhoods, they're underdeveloped neighborhoods, right? They're vacant property neighborhoods. I gotta have a gun. I gotta worry about coming home. This is just what's in my mind as a developer going to these places, right? I live really good in New York. I live a nice life in New York. So now I got to go into this war mindset going there.
You don't know who's going to open that door.
I don't know. It's all been good.
Locked and loaded and ready.
Nothing's ever happened. Everything has always been peachy clean and perfect. Not perfect, but, you know, it's been really nice. It's a nice journey for me. And when you renovate in underdeveloped neighborhoods, they appreciate you. But it's just the mindset of like carrying guns, right? It's the norm there, right?
But uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable for me, in all honesty, of being transparent. I don't want to have to deal with stuff like that.
And people don't talk about
to come back home. Nah, they don't talk about it.
I've never heard that because I would hate to carry a gun. I went to the shooting range, the gun range in Union, and I was like, can we leave?
Right. I'm not claiming to be super, like, you know, I'm not that guy. I'm like a guy that manages a way to live well. But the reality of it is I want to come home to where it's nice and cool and comfortable. I got 2 houses, one in downtown Brooklyn. I jog in the park, right? I'm a runner. I eat, what is it? Brown eggs.
The last thing you want to have is a gun on you.
Don't you? Yeah.
A bottle of water, but that's about it.
Right. Like, it's just me personally, it's not my thing.
Not your thing.
It's not the spaces that I want to be in. Right. So when I think about investing, when I think about handling that portfolio, it's like everything's going to be aligned to where they don't have to go. And I don't have to go. I love
that concept then. Yeah, that works.
So when sometimes people be asking me like, hey, you know, when you going back out to your properties, when you going to do another shadow day and all that, I'll be like, man, all the rents are paid. I'm cool. I ain't going out there like that. No offense. I will renovate a neighborhood. But having to go and just be in the mix of all of that stuff. And then you have stuff happens to like the wrong people sometimes in those neighborhoods. So I don't love going. I love contribution. I love contributing. I love renovating. I love revitalizing. We're doing communities right now. We're focusing on Birmingham. Birmingham's like the next market to turn. So we're focusing there. We put a lot of emphasis and a lot of change in Michigan, in the Detroit market. Like we really did like hella work over there.
So you're throughout the U.S. Are you
There's
only
250 land banks throughout the country. We have developed or purchased, I'm going to just say like 12.
When did the land bank start and with who? I've never really dived into that. Land
banks have been around for a while. There's 250 of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like, I'll give you like the most popular 5. There's the Detroit Land Bank because it's really easy to buy from.
Okay.
You just go online right now. So for QueenEllas audience, buildingdetroit.org, you can just go there. There's 2 ways to buy property: Own It Now and auction. They both run simultaneously, but you can just buy properties there. Sight unseen. Just got to have an ID and buy them. And no blight, no history of blight tickets in that area.
Okay.
So if you did, you just clean it up and you can buy. So there's buildingdetroit.org. That's in Detroit. There's the Muncie, Indiana Land Bank. They sell land starting at $300.
Wow.
As low as $300. It's crazy. Yeah. Closer to home, there's the Wilmington, Delaware Land Bank.
Okay.
How far is Wilmington from you?
I wouldn't know, but Delaware, I'm thinking like maybe an hour, 2 hours tops.
So they have 2 programs. They have a program called the Homestead Program, where
I know Homestead, yeah.
They still sell houses for $1 there. But you have to plan to live there. You have to have an agreement to live there.
Newark has the $1 program too. Mm-hmm. You got to be a resident, and they say it's not income based, but I think
I'm gonna touch on that in a second.
I think that's like that.
So we got where I think Deontay said she had a hand in this land bank itself, Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Kansas City Land Bank, you can actually go buy or you do your application in person over the counter for Kansas City.
Right there on the spot.
Right there on the spot. There's a time period where they tell you yes or no if you're gonna get it or not.
Yeah.
But you actually go in person and submit your application.
Wow.
Which is super cool. And I'll give one more for your audience, just who doesn't know. Birmingham Land Bank.
Okay.
The Birmingham Land Bank, I really like. You do your application. There's a waiting period, but there's like a set amount for the properties. So those are like 5 popular land banks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty cool. Like you get to create your own inventory for land bank properties.
So these are like board members with different chapters? Like how does that work? No. This system, just programs.
Here, land banks are government entities.
Right.
That are in place to change problem properties into properties of productive use according to community goals, right? So they're going to a community. Some communities, they only want people that are going to live in the properties because they tend to take care of their properties better than investors, right? So I'm in New York. I travel the world, right? So if there's an issue with a property, I might not hear about it for like 3-4 days later, and I might not get to it. So they're like, no, we don't want investors. We want people that's actually going to live there. Some areas, let's just say like Michigan, for example, they just want the neighborhoods clean. They want the vacant properties occupied, period. They don't care. So those you can just go buy right away. You can buy on your cell phone. Other places like, nah, we got to make sure they live in there. We got to make sure that they're going to be taking out the garbage. It ain't going to be like left. It's not investor style. It's more so like occupied to where it has the best interest of the community. Right. So each land bank has its own qualifications, but it's really based around the goals of what the community dictates.
But I'm sure they all want you to have the project done within a certain period of time.
Yeah. So some land banks
will probably lose the property.
Some land banks will give you 6 months. Some will give you a year. Some will give you longer. Let's just say, I think it's Sydney, Kansas City is 3 years, I believe. 3 years to get the deed. So you have 3 years. You have to like abide by their rules, renovate it and stay there for 3 years, or just work out something with them.
Oh, so they will hold the deed even when you complete the job.
They're going to be on it with you. They hold a small interest. They'll be on it with you until you complete the work, and then they'll just give it to you. You own it outright.
Okay, so once the work is completed, then you don't have to wait 3 years. You can get it sooner.
That's called
but they give you up to 3 years.
That's called the release of interest. They're releasing their interest and giving you the paperwork for it. Yeah.
I've heard land bank never cared to really, you know what it is? When it's too good to be true. So for me, I was just like,
here's what I find.
Too good to be true.
Here's what I find. It's not that it's too good to be true. When people hear that low dollar amount, they think it's the properties that nobody wants, right? Like those are the houses that nobody wants.
Right.
Then there's a negative connotation with land banks that they want to take your property back.
Yes.
So you feel like you might put in $20,000 worth of work. Your contractor walks off the job. The land bank comes right after, inspects and says, oh, you didn't get this done. And they take the house.
They take the home, right?
None of those are true.
Okay.
So in reality, we'll go with the contractors and the land bank first. They don't want to take your properties back. They want you to finish the properties. No one on my team or no one that I've ever come across that I've helped has had a property taken away from them. The land banks will support all of your efforts if you're showing progress. They take them back if you don't do anything, right? Rightfully so, because you're not serving the community's goals by renovating. If you're showing progress, you can have, and this is a land bank that gives you 1 year, you can stretch to like 2 years and some change of what I've experienced right now, to where a house got, there was like a flood in the property and the guy lost like his mechanicals, right? The furnace, everything, it was just trash. It set him back, but he showed proof. He showed receipts. He showed contractor agreements. He has no issues. As long as you work, they give you a compliance officer. Right. As long as you work and you communicate with your compliance officer, they're not interested in taking the house back because it doesn't solve a problem.
It doesn't.
Right?
Right.
As far as the requirements and things like that, here's why I got into land bank properties and I didn't run away from them. So the negative connotation or association was they're going to overly inspect. They're going to make sure that you do everything with the permit department. They're going to make you pull permits. They're going to make you do your rough and plumbing and then come see. And then they're going to make you do your final. They're going to walk in. And I always said to myself, like, I'm going to do that stuff anyway. So what am I? Like, I'm not a contractor. I hire them. I want somebody, I want an extra set of eyes on the contractors to make sure like it's being done right.
Right.
They're like, nah, Charles, you got to spend a certain amount of money. You have to do it this way. You got to do inspections and everything. And I'm like, that don't sound that bad. Because if I ever wanted to sell a property, now I got a whole booklet of saying, hey, this was done and it was done. This is the contract. It's warranted. It was inspected by the city and inspected by the land bank. Right? And now I'm coming with a whole book.
Good investment here.
Yeah, it wasn't the downside of what I heard wasn't that bad.
Right.
And then not just me being like a nerd. I read like every single word they ever wrote about their compliance and how it works, the ins and outs of it. And it really wasn't that bad.
So this isn't a good fit for anyone that wants to cut corners or do a lipstick job and want to quickly get in and out of situations. You're actually putting a lot of love and care into your investments, so you're okay with it. It's like,
yeah, I want it to be done right anyway.
Right, I want it done right anyway.
But I'm okay with it scaring those people away. But you can, and I think this book is called Hacking Land Bank Properties, right? Right. You really only have to do the things that they're asking you to do. Right. So I've gotten the release on properties where I didn't get to the 3 bedrooms upstairs. Mm-hmm. They only asked that we did the kitchen, the bathroom, windows, doors, and the mechanicals. So if they really just took the time to read and educate themselves on land banks, it'd probably be a good fit for those guys because they could just go and do the 6 things and get out and they own the property. It just turns out like that. But that's what makes me different. Yeah. I just do the work. Like, I just go the long way. All right. So back to you. You went from moderating events. Yes. Right. Which now I remember so clearly.
Is crazy.
You moderated in a speaking engagement I did to saying, this is what I want to do. This is like my purpose, because you can now like spread and share so much more interest and information. Right. Right. You got like a killer lineup. Right? You got Wallow, you got Jude, who owns the Brooklyn Bank. You got just a killer lineup. Right. Right. And just tell us about the event really quickly.
So it's called Q4 Mastermind. So we're starting a quarter off October 7th. It is not just focused on real estate, although we have developers, investors. It's more so a way to prepare you for the next year. And I'm looking at what is going on throughout the year, because these are people that I've networked with in one way or another. And I, again, trying to figure out what the need is and how to meet those needs. everyone is complaining about money, right? It's like, okay, I have a pre-approval and my buying power can't get me what I want. Yeah. And then you have the investors that are like, well, how do I buy right? You know? And then you have those that are sitting in a home and they locked in a rate of 1-2%, and they have all this equity, but they don't know what to do with it. So I said, okay. And then you have the others who they have none of the above, and their credit is just it's messed up, right? So I thought, okay, let me bring a bunch of professionals to speak to the minds and to the hearts of people that need this information, and not for it to be like a motivational speech. Right. Although Wallow will be doing a motivational speech, Wallow's story, to me, is just most impressive. It is. It's powerful. A man that did 20 years and came home running in front of a camera in the rain, constantly yelling at a screen, and now he's a millionaire. Now he's making all of this money. He has a clothing line that he's just launched. I think it's water, like his own water line or something like that. I forget. I don't know if it's juice or what, but he's always drinking it and saying support. But he has so many things going for him. And the reason why I admire Wallow is because I have a cousin that just did time, and he came home, and it's unfortunate those that, you know, they do the time, they come home and they don't know how to be citizens. They were in the streets most of their lives, and to come home and to fill out a job application, first of all, to even keep up with technology, because that wasn't the case. Yeah, you got to readjust. Right, so it was like the world of technology, I don't know how to keep up, you know, like FaceTime me, well, how, what buttons do you press, right? But these individuals, they are familiar with the streets and doing things their way, to now work somewhere and have someone above them telling them what to do, and then making whatever minimum wage. When they was making what they make in a week, 9 to 5, they were making in a day. Wallow needs to speak to that group. Yeah. All right. So that has nothing to do with real estate. That has everything to do with shifting the mindset of those that feel like I have nothing left to give. And most men, their lives, they lead to destruction, more destruction, because it's all I know and I know it works. Right. And then you have Drew Bernard. Drew Bernard is, he doesn't know how powerful he is. You know, he's the owner of the Brooklyn Bank. He does a lot of he has a financial literacy program where he educates a lot of students in the city of Brooklyn. We live close to each other. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm in Prospect Lefferts Gardens. Okay. I don't know exactly his neighborhood, but every time I see him and we talk, we're close. Oh, really? He's like, yeah, man, bro, just hit me. Like, oh, no, he's such a kind man. Some of the events like that he goes to, like in our neighborhood, I might just miss. And I'll see he posted, and I'm like, damn, I should have called him. He's really cool. I know you have Welby. Yes. Who is another New Yorker who educates. Yeah. Absolutely. So Welby does a lot of his investments in Connecticut. Then you have everyone else are developers. Like they go in and they build from the ground up. One of them that is a developer, he's also a realtor. So, you know, we're going to be touching on things that I feel like everyone needs to hear right now. Nice. And it's not going to be motivational speaking. It's going to be like it's classroom style. The tables are going to be set up. The pads are going to be there. And it's I'm like, open your minds and be ready to learn. Be ready to hear things from a different angle. But I don't want to be the one moderating. I want the audience to do that. Meaning, you figured out a way to scale impact. Right. So when I speak, right, let's just say I speak to 100 people. There's a subset of people that I connect with that I'm going to be able to impact, that are going to buy, that are going to like latch on or be inspired by what I just spoke about and what I just shared. But you found a way to almost cater to every person in the room without you speaking, without you like that. That's like scaling like ridiculously. I love that idea and that concept. So for me, it was, Queen, what are your needs? Queen, what is it that, you know, my experience going to events, where can you make improvements? You think about your best event that you attended. How can you improve that? And it's all in the experience. It's all in the experience. Again, like church, you won't leave here like you came in Jesus' name. That's smart. So for me, it's like, I want to make sure that when people arrive, I want a DJ. I want there to be music. Yeah. When someone walks in, welcome to Q4 Mastermind. Don't just say, yeah, you can go inside. That's right there. No, I want an experience. You created something crazy. Yes, I like it. I like experience. It. All right. So I'm going to be traveling back from D-Day, but it's in Newark.
I wanna see if I can make it there.
Yeah,
I get back at like 12. What time does it start?
It starts doors open at 11, but the presentations,
How long will start at
12. 12 until 4:15, and then from 4 till 6, it'll be networking.
Can I get an official invite?
Absolutely.
If I pop up? All right,
absolutely.
bet. So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna try to just change my flight to flying to Newark.
Okay.
Because I leave at like 10 Birmingham, and then I'll just get here. I think it's like
join us.
11. I think it's like 4. It
us.
Lands at like 12. I'm gonna try.
I may throw the mic at you. To be honest, it's not. We follow the program, but my roots are in the church. You'll have a program, and then the pastor will be like, forget the program. We're going to do things differently.
It takes its own legs sometimes.
Right. So based on the energy and how people are responding, I may say, throw away the whole program. You know what? So-and-so, come here. Don't you have something you want to tell? Something just happened last night you told me about. I want you to tell everybody what happened.
Nice. I love it.
You know?
All right. So look, we're both at a point where we're impacting people. We're changing lives. Your event, I could tell you right now, is going to change somebody's life. It's going to change the trajectory of their life. And that's going to have this trickle down effect to like the next generation.
Absolutely.
And could go a lot further. So kudos to you on that. I love it. It's like, isn't it like the most like impactful thing? It's, I can't think of the word, but it's like the most rewarding thing to impact someone's life, like an adult, because you know it's going to carry on.
Absolutely.
So super rewarding.
Absolutely.
Tell me, and I love where you are too with like marketing the event. I saw it like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I wonder if she got time to come do the Landbank Show real quick. I wonder if she could squeeze me in there with everything she got going on. But tell me about a time where it wasn't like that, where it wasn't QueenElla who's throwing this dope ass event. You're like headlining the event. You got all these powerhouses, right? Just looking at the flyer is intimidating. It's like, it is, because you got like power. It's like your face. Then you got powerhouse real estate guy, another set of powerhouse, another all the way down.
Right.
Tell me about a time where it wasn't like that for you.
So, well, I'll say this. Outside of Wallow, every man on there is Haitian. Another one is British. But for the most part, I have 8 speakers. Of the 8, 6 are Haitian.
Are you Haitian?
I'm half Haitian.
Half Haitian?
Half Haitian. My dad is Haitian. My mom is American.
Okay.
So let me go a little deep without getting emotional on here. I hated that side of me. There was a point in time that I hated that side of me because I didn't love my father.
There's no program to the show.
Okay.
So there's no program. We did the sponsors. You can say what you want. The sponsors have turned it off by now. There was one
side that I hated and then grew to love. I think a lot of us with the childhood trauma, we blame our parents for things. And then when you become a parent, you realize like, wow, parenting is hard.
Yeah.
And we make mistakes. And my mistakes may be different from yours. Maybe you could have been a better parent, but maybe that was all you knew. Mm-hmm. So as I got older, I was able to then love my father, even his mistakes. Whether it was I'm sorry, whether I got the I'm sorry or not. Yeah. I was able to say, this is who I'm going to love, is the only father that I have. And it made me want to be, I dated every Haitian too. I didn't like them, but all of my life, I ended up with a Haitian. I even married one, right? So although I couldn't stand the man at the time, that's all I wanted. That was the void I needed. I dated older men too. It was like straight up daddy issues. But I'm starting to love and wanting to know more about my culture and embrace it more, because I realized a part of not knowing who I am and trying to find myself as I went through that process of just spending more time with me and having self-care and self-love and trying to really understand what that meant for me. I realized the reason why I never felt whole was because I never knew that side. I could never connect. If a Haitian person come in and says, "Sac passe," the most I could say is "Nabalé." I couldn't really have a conversation. I couldn't tell you the struggles of my people because I never connected with them.
You didn't embrace the history or the culture.
No, I tried to stay away from it because it reminded me of my father. It reminded me of who I was.
So how did you date? So why did you choose? Was it your environment?
It wasn't the
Haitian men were just around?
No.
Or you sought them out?
I think it was me programming myself to hate. But I loved, because the only reason why I hated was because I loved. I wanted to receive something from someone that I didn't get. And because I didn't get it, when you think about intelligence, like emotional intelligence, you have to be able to label things correctly. Okay. So if I say I'm hurt, I may not be hurt. I may be abandoned. Feeling abandonment is what makes me feel this hurt. Okay. Right? So it's deeper than just hurt. I feel abandoned. If my dad had stepped in at any point and loved me the way that I felt I needed to, then that would have gone away. That would have went away. But for some reason, having that void, because I pushed him away, I replaced it with older men. I replaced it with Haitian men. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this lineup is another way of me saying, like, just, there's other ways of looking at Haitian men. Like, they're entrepreneurs. They're successful men. These are men on the lineup that are fathers. Like, they're taking care of their children. So I'm able to see Haitian men in a different light.
Nice.
If that makes any sense. Yeah.
That is so deep.
Yeah.
That you're doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not Haitian, just so you know.
Okay.
So do I still get to speak? No. If not this event, I'm good. Okay? No, I won't get thrown off or thrown out.
I'll throw you on the flyer.
I'm not trying to hack you.
No, man, I'll throw because I as I was driving here, because it's something I don't know. I'm sure there's many that don't know about the Landbank team. I honestly wanted to talk to you after this to see how we can put something together to educate, those that may not or want to know more about it.
So that's super interesting. Is your dad going to come?
No, I will send him an invitation, but I'm sure he won't. My dad is a very busy man. So I get a lot of who I am is what my father is. So I remind myself too of my father. Okay. A lot of my ways are like his, but yeah, I doubt he'll.
Is he going to see it?
Oh yeah, for sure. He'll see it. My siblings always pass the phone, like, look what your daughter's doing. And he'll tell me he's excited about.
So he knows the magnitude that you're like.
Oh yeah, he loves
impacting people.
And he loves it. He loves it.
Very interesting story. I love that.
Yeah. So it's deeper than, I think that's the reason why I cling to men more than I do women. Cause that's the void. That's the void. And I'm an adult. I know I'm 36 years old and I should have it all together, but you don't have to have it all together. I'm still figuring life out. I'm still figuring out ways to, work on myself, to build, to grow. Of course. And right now what I'm doing has been working for me. And again, that lineup was just special for me. This is probably a one and done situation, but even this year was my first time doing a Haitian event in honor of Haitian Flag Day. And we honored a Haitian developer, investor. So for me, this is the year of tapping into myself, and this is how I'm growing. It.
I'm going to tell you something. One way, like you said, you want to grow, you want to get to know yourself, you want to just highlight individuals. That is one of the fastest ways to grow.
Absolutely.
Pouring into people, sowing those seeds to grow, right? Like you're putting together an event that's highlighting Haitian men and how strong they are, how powerful they are, how intelligent they are, right? How successful they are, right? As in their professional world as well as at home. Right. Like,
and they're great dads too. That stigma, a lot of that needs to go, and not just Haitian men, it goes deeper, just men of color. Right. So that needed to be highlighted as well. And then too, to see a woman on the front line.
Nah, it's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful. I was like, I don't know if she's going to make it. I don't know what she's doing over there. But I get it. But what's going to happen in turn, right? It's going to start to teach you, and you are going to grow from it.
Absolutely.
You're going to grow from helping people. You're going to grow from that being your network. Right. Like the norms. And we talked about environment earlier, right? Like where I started in my environment, then when I went to college, it was a totally different environment that kind of shaped and changed. So just putting yourself around, how many speakers you got? 8 successful, powerful minds, not even from a gender perspective, but just minds, right? You're automatically going to grow. And then what you get back from sowing those seeds and teaching people and educating, it's just going to make you a better person.
So I know that to be true because that's exactly what happened last year when I had MG the mortgage guy. I had the credit due. That was my first event.
Okay.
Welby was on the lineup as well. And after that event, Welby was excited and wanted to do more. MG said to me, you know what, this made me think of when I used to do something. He said he used to host some type of class and he wanted to go back to that. And then I saw him hosting those same events throughout the year. So for me, it was like, not only did they inspire me, I was able to inspire them. And then, of course, now their network, they saw me, they noticed me, and they're like, who's that girl? And now I have access to them. And I said it online, you know what? I want to be in certain rooms. In certain rooms I can't get in, but my network have access to. They have access to. Yeah. And by them going in, and if they ever mention my name, that's how I get into those doors.
It's doing the work. Yeah. The work that you're doing and the type of work, the fact that it's targeted work, it's selfless work, right? Because you may not get anything from those people who listen to Jude, who listen to Welby, who go into development. It may never financially find its way back to you, but when you want something, having that network, having that intelligence, it just comes to you. Right. And it comes to you like 3, 4, 5 times over.
Absolutely. So that's what I've been experiencing all year. So I'm blessed. I'm happy. It's
crazy. So so
I wouldn't have this lineup if it wasn't for my first event.
So here, we got to touch on some things because we're on a show. We just hanging out. But this is a show. We got to touch on some things. What other ways do you impact? I know you told me at one point you were teaching.
Yes.
Tell me about that real quick.
So I did have a coaching program where, if you think about it, I was more like a performance coach. So I don't have to know your industry to know how, know your potential. Right. And how to push you to reach your highest potential. I did that one-on-one session for about an hour. And then it was draining for me because it was like a 9 to 5, right? Yeah. So if I had taught a group of people at a time, it would have been okay. But I realized it was like, okay, Queen, you have one scheduled at 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. So you have to be there during that time. Yeah. Okay, now you have another one at 11. So you only got a few, you only got an hour to hurry up and respond to emails. And it was like, okay, I can't. There's no way I can do this. I can't manage this. I need someone to come in. Maybe I could shadow them and they show me how they get it done. But then the passion I wasn't really passionate about it because it wasn't in person. It was online. So it was just like, the connection wasn't there. And then too, I in doing that, I started to realize more that I needed to be on a stage and speaking to people.
You just felt it like,
it was
this
more.
Wasn't it.
Yeah, this wasn't it. And because I don't like that being, like a wall separating us. I need to be in person. I need to be able to touch your hand. I need to be able to pull you in and hug you and tell you I love you, right? So the screen just didn't work for me. But it went from...
I like the screen though.
You like the screen?
I'm super private as a person.
Oh, that's
If you can call me and be like, Charles, I bought a house. Like when they call me, when team members call me and tell me they want a house, I feel like I just bought a house. I feel that excitement and that win.
Yeah, but that's different than to be
gratifying
teaching.
To me.
The teaching part though. Like, don't you want to take them to a house and show them the land and you want to interact with them, meet them in person, leave the screen? I couldn't do that for too long. It just wasn't the same. And then I'm easily distracted because while I'm speaking to you, I have my phone that's going off like crazy. Yeah. So it just, I don't know.
Teaching. I like teaching, sharing. I love teaching. It's just impact. The impact is just so crazy for people that, like you said, even yourself who's never heard of it. If you go buy a house tomorrow from one of those sites that I told you, I'll be super happy and proud for you. Right. It does it for me. It just does it. I'm not like a stage guy. I mean, I speak, but because I like impact so much, speaking is easy. Public speaking is easy. I hear it's one of the hardest things or one of the most feared things.
Most feared, yeah.
It's easy for me because I know what's on the other end. Somebody's going to call me and say, hey, I looked at that site. Or somebody's going to come up to me and be like, hey, I got 2 kids too, and I wasn't sure how they're going to live in Newark. Now Newark, the rents in Newark are crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like the impact that I know that's coming, if I speak loud enough, tell my story, tell the the prices of the houses that I'm going to get that feedback back.
So here's the difference between telling your story, telling people what to do, this is what you need to get done. You did a great job. I'm happy for you. Then, all right, last week you said you were going to do X, Y, and Z. Did you get them done? No, I didn't. Oh, okay, well, I'm like your accountability partner. So it's like, oh, well, you didn't get it done last week. And last week's task, well, actually from 2 weeks ago, and here we are, week 4, you haven't accomplished anything. Yeah. So I was like, this is draining because I'm working with people. Yes, I'm getting paid to do it, but I'm working with people that are not applying the information that I gave to you. So for me, that was the draining part because it's like I'm wasting time, although making money. Right. There's no joy because there are no results. And you're telling me I had a bad day that day. Okay, well, I'd rather work with people because the joy I get out of it is to see results. When I don't see results, then I feel like we're both wasting each other's time. Right. It's not the money. It's like, dude, if you wasn't going to do it, you should have just told me. So that's why I stopped because I said, you know what? I'd rather stand on stage or do a live and everyone gets the information and whoever applies it, they apply it. But when I have to be your accountability partner and I have to discipline you in a sense, baby like, I don't want to baby anyone. I have enough children. So here's what I do. I use a success coach. Okay. Because I want everybody in my program to win because it's so easy to win. It's like, don't come in here and window shop. I want you to buy a property. I want you to win a property. I want you to own a property. I hired a success coach, Sydney. Ashley is a success coach of mine, and I charge them with the task of making sure, like when I give homework, they do it. When I give the steps to buy, you follow all 3 steps, now you go buy. And there's little touch points in. And then I do something like every other month, I do like accountability Tuesdays. So I mentor on Tuesdays. And I will go through the list of everybody on that call, and I'm like, where are you with your project? Did you buy? Why didn't you buy? You have the money? Yeah, I got the money. So why didn't you buy? I'm looking, and I'll pull up some of the sites and be like, there's 3 houses right here. Did you do the research on these houses? They'll be like, no, and I'll be like, all right, look, you need to buy a property. Like you came into the program, you wanted to accomplish X, Y, Z. You told me you got daughters that you got to look out for. Like, why didn't we buy? And then they'd be like, you know what, Charles, you're right. And they do it. So there's ways around it. I just like... You have people in place to do the work that would bore you. Yes. Like you don't want to... And it's hard because similar to you, I want to work with people that want to win. Right. Right. I don't want to pull you to the finish line. I want to help you get to the finish line. I want you sprinting your fastest. And I'm like, all right, just put your arms this way. And it's like having 20 people on a wagon that you got to pull. No, let's have all 20 of us push this rock together. And get it. Not 20 on a wagon and I got to pull y'all the whole time. Yeah. Like, come on. It's just rewarding. I get it. I want results. I want results because even the events, if I felt like, I could host events, right? I could charge $300. I don't charge $300 for tickets, but I could charge $300 for tickets because in the end, I want to make money. I could care less what information you get. Yeah. No, I want the experience. The information that is provided is something that is useful. And you saw the value in these events. Nice. So you come out next year. I don't got to worry about... How often do you do them? So the Q4 Mastermind, of course, is once a year. October, the first Saturday of October. Okay. We do Women of Diversity. That is the last Saturday of March. So last year was my first Q4. This would be my second. This year, Women's of Diversity was my first. I got to wait a year? No. These are the 2 major events. One for women in March and then one for, I say men in October. Okay. In between, like this year has been 14 in total. In between, I'm just doing, if there's Haitian Flag Day, we're going to do one for Haitian Flag Day, educational, but we also highlight a Haitian that is doing some numbers, doing some things. And then we have politics and real estate. So I had the Senator Troy Singleton, who was on the lineup. Troy is on the Landbank team. Stop it. We had Troy the postpone the event, but Troy Singleton, really? Troy, does he have a brother? I don't know. Troy Singleton? Yeah, he's a senator in Willingboro, I believe. I think that's he's in Willingboro. He does a lot of work in Willingboro.
I'm going to show you his picture. We have a Troy Singleton from New Jersey on the Landbank team.
Nice. So
it could be him, could not be him.
I want to say it could be.
Could be.
You'll show me.
I'll show you that. So it's on my page. He did a 4-minute testimonial. I'm like, dude, just answer these 3 questions. Nice. And he did a 4-minute testimonial. I'm like, I don't know if our people are going to watch 4 minutes. Plus, when he did it, he gave away the entire game, like the entire sauce. I'm like, you just taught my course in 4 minutes. Like, could you just answer like 3 questions? It could be him, could not be him.
It might have been him.
That would be so interesting that we're like
super connected.
I know, like it's 1 degree away. Yeah.
But most of my events it's based on whatever's happening. If it's like in April is Financial Literacy Month.
All right.
Drew doesn't know, but I'm gonna ask him if he would be open to hosting an event then. And then for you, I feel like it would be perfect to have. I don't mean you don't need any other speakers, and I feel like Drew doesn't either. Like you two can stand alone. The type of information that you guys carry, we need. Cool. There's a need. So yeah, it doesn't. It can do
we'll talk more. We'll talk more offline.
Yeah.
But anything. Oh, so tell people, audience, right? Tell them how to reach you if they want to tap into anything that you're doing. Tell them where to find you, how to reach you, how to tap into your content.
Do I look in the camera?
That's the camera over there.
Hey everybody, my name is QueenElla Gibson. As you already know, you can find me at QueenElla_Realtor on Instagram. You can visit my website, QueenEllaGibson.com for more information. You can visit Q4Mastermind.eventbrite.com to purchase tickets to attend the Q4 Mastermind Wealth Mindset event happening October 7th, 11 a.m. at the Doubletree by Hilton, North Penn Station in the downtown North district. You definitely want to be there. And I've been saying it lately that success favors the bold. So if you're bold enough to grab a ticket and be there, I'm sure you'll be successful. There's no reason why you're not once you attend that event.
Awesome. I love it. You are a speaker. Like we it's gonna be crazy. I see why you want to be on stage. You're made for it. Like it works. I was watching like, oh wow.
You're so silly.
No, I was. I got drawn in. All right, so here, I gotta say this, and this just came to mind. Why everybody should tap into what you're doing.
Why?
I'm gonna say why.
Oh, you're going to. Okay.
I'm going to tell the audience, Landbank team members, as I close out this episode of the Landbank Show, Landbank team members and our audience, tap into what QueenElla is doing. And this is the number one reason why. Queens can make moves that kings can't.
That's a fact.
It's just a fact. Like, it is what it is. You can do stuff that we can't do. You're just gifted and talented and blessed with, like, that ability.
Right.
So we think about, like, the most intellectual games and chess and things like that. Queens just have these powers, like, that kings just can't. They can't just make the moves that you can do. Like, throwing that event that you got going on is crazy.
I'm a nurturer. So you guys men take action, we nurture.
I love it. All right, that wraps up this episode of the Landbank Show. Like, subscribe, follow, watch it on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and every other place that they do podcasts. Thank you so much, Queen, for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Landbank Show with Charles Noonan. Please leave a review for this podcast and give it 5 stars. Also, follow on Instagram at Charles J. Noonan and share with others as we want to share these unique strategies with developers across the world.